Thank you. Yeah, good afternoon. I'm going to talk about the scale of new build challenge, because in the morning we may talk about the scale of existing build challenge, with China's urbanization as my case. So the scale of China's urbanization. As we all know that China is the largest developing country in the world, and it has experienced the rapid process of urbanization, which was driven by industrialization, with an annual increase in urban population of about 1 percentage points in the past 20 years. And it is estimated that in the next 20 years, this percentage will increase annually nearly 1 percentage points. And this will 1 percentage points. And there will be a total amount of 300 to 350 million migrants from rural to urban areas, or if you like, there will be emergence of 300 to 350 new cities with 1 million inhabitants. So in the year of 2009, the percentage of urban population in China was 46.6%, and there was an increase of 15 million urban inhabitants and a new building areas of more than 1 billion square meters in urban areas, totally for a country about 2 billion square meters. And also there was nearly 14 million vehicles in the entire country. I heard the news yesterday on the plane that the vehicles are the largest producer of air pollution in medium-sized and large cities in China now. So because of the scale of the population and the speed of urbanization, the impact of China's urbanization is certainly not limited by the nation's boundary, although the amount of carbon emissions per capita in China, I think, is currently much lower than that in the developed country. But the increasingly visible impact of China's urbanization and industrialization on global warming has been a deep concern for the international communities, and also, I think, for the Club 40. So the strategic transformation towards sustainable urbanization is widely discussed in Chinese community, especially in terms of, in the next 20 years, how China can manage the rapid process of industrialization and urbanization as it did in the past 20 years, but to meet its carbon intensity targets. This is a topic very hot in Chinese society. So there are challenges and opportunities faced by Chinese urbanizations in terms of, as I said, how to meet its carbon intensity targets, because the situations in China are not as same as those faced by developed countries. You may know that China's urbanization has been driven in the past by rapid process of industrialization, while most of the carbon emissions are currently generated by industries. The volume of carbon emissions produced by buildings and vehicles, they are the topic today, has experienced a remarkable increase in Chinese cities. Therefore, strategies for China's urbanization based on low carbon development have to focus on not only on economic transformation, as talked by the Chinese government many times, from an industrial dominant to a service dominant model, but in my view, but also on the consumption sphere of the built environment or urban built environment. As I mentioned previously, a great number of new cities need to be built in the next 20 years to accommodate hundreds of millions of rural to urban migrants. Unlike developed countries, where most of cities have been built, China is facing a great opportunity, not only challenging, I think it's a great opportunity to manage the new development of the urban built environment based on low carbon concepts, such as compact form, mixed use, or pedestrian friendliness, and transit-oriented development, as we saw some of them in Hong Kong, and also green buildings. Compared with low carbon technologies in industry, I think the low carbon development of the urban built environment relies more on innovations of local government rather than technology, which should be directed towards smart development. So it is therefore an extremely cost-effective approach for Chinese cities that will be built in the next 20 years to adopt low-carbon principles in the urban built environment. Those principles can also be applied to urban built environment of existing Chinese cities because they have more compact form and low ownerships of private cars compared with their counterpart in developed countries. Last but not least, main lessons from Expo 2010, because I'm personally involved in the planning for the Expo. So the Expo 2010 was closed last week with the total number of visits over 70 million. The large number of visitors for a day is over 1 million. So the theme of Expo is city, better life. For the first time in the history of the World Expo, urban best practice from many cities around the world, including a lot of members of C40, were selected by an international community to be present in the specially designated area of Expo 2010, namely Urban Best Practice Area. This is the bird's eye view of that area. You can see a lot of industrial buildings renovated into pavilions. So many of participating cases displayed their urban development focus on both livability and sustainability, namely how cities can improve the quality of urban life while reducing carbon emissions. We have a lot of cases. Here there are some pictures I can show, such as the energy-efficient new buildings from Hafen cities in Hamburg. They have a reduction of energy use by over 50%. It's much, much lower than the German standard. And also we have a case called the revival of bicycles from Odense, Denmark, where they have built 550 kilometers bicycle ways. And 1/3 of the intra-urban trips use bicycles in Odense. And we have another remarkable case from Taipei. It's the sustainable urbanization of urban waste. In Taipei, there are over 80% of urban waste are recycled and reused. So the urban waste to use the methods of landfilling, it's been reduced by 2/3 compared with the starting year of the policy, that's the 1996. So it's a remarkable achievement. So the urban best practice area in Expo 2010 received a consensus that urbanization based on low carbon development not only relies on technological innovation, but also is very much dependent on political willingness of not only the local government, but also the local authority, or the national government, but also local authorities. As some people said in the morning, nations talk, cities act. So Expo 2010 was held, I think, at the critical moment when China is rethinking the strategy of urbanization. It is being widely reported by the media in China that the most valuable legacy of Expo 2010 is to encourage the Chinese government to consider the strategy of transformation of the urbanization towards a low-carbon development, which will definitely have positive consequences on global warming due to the sheer scale of China's urbanization. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Tang, for giving us a view on how our motherland is going to tackle this increasing urbanization. I have the privilege of visiting the Urban Best Practice Pavilion, and like Professor Tang, I'm very impressed by the Taipei's remarkable achievement in solid waste reduction. And what is more important, as Professor Tang said, it's not a matter of technology, it's actually pretty simple, but it's a matter of governance. It's really the municipality or the city governance that makes it work. Now let me introduce our second speaker, which is Mr. Elee Muslin. Elee is the director of CCI, standing for Clinton Climate Initiative of the William J. Clinton Foundation. He joined CCI since December 2006 as a director of building technologies. And in this position, he shaped CCI's technology strategy for energy efficiency and renewable energy for existing buildings, and negotiating global business development agreements with technology vendors on behalf of CCI's C40 municipal clients. As some of you know, he has launched the CCI's Climate Positive Development Program in partnership with the U.S. Green Building Council in January 2009. So I understand his topic is very exciting, from climate positive, carbon negative, the challenge for large-scale urban projects. So let's give Mr. Elee Muslin a big welcome. Thank you.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much. Climate Positive Development Program was, we began in January 2009. We announced it formally at the C40 Summit with President Clinton in May of 2009. It is a program that was launched in partnership with the U.S. Green Building Council, and it's founded on a very simple idea. It is our hope and our desire that a simple yet highly aggressive and outcome-based global benchmark can be transformational to the new construction real estate market for large urban real estate developments. Just a brief introduction. The Climate Positive Development Program is one of several programs under the umbrella of the Clinton Climate Initiative. Is one of our portfolio programs. We are the delivery partner for the C40. We care very deeply about our municipal partners and their carbon strategies. This complements the Building Retrofit Program, another successful program which works entirely in the existing built infrastructure.